All right.
Good morning.
Hi, everyone.
We're
almost
ready to begin.
I guess we do start this usually with like a little
see
something.
that? Sorry, I have a black eye. Did you? I didn't
What
share
happened?
that. Okay, it's like all yellow. Chancellor, my dog elbowed me in the middle of the night.
Oh,
Just
perfect.
people's elbow right on my face.
Love.
I got my shiner.
Oh my God, that
Goes
must have
this way.
hurt.
I thought he split me open.
Really?
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a really good
like
one.
3 a.m.
Anyway.
Like, Chancellor.
Yeah, I thought it was my husband. About swung back at him. throw my elbow right back at him. Yeah. Morning.
Good morning.
How did I forget about that and look?
So she'll just have her finger there the whole time. That'll be the. But as everyone hops on, please just let us know where you're from, where you're tuning in from. We always love to know. And we'll get started at 10 a.m. sharp. So give us.
So we got a couple minutes. We're
2 minutes
out in the Pacific, so we got a few minutes to be 10 o'clock. Everybody else is eating lunch already, but it's crazy.
I don't like that. But it makes it harder for us if we need to call people because we work with a lot of people on the East Coast.
Yeah, it does.
And,
the mornings go real fast.
We're
and then
real late to the party. Yeah.
We are. It is a little bit different, but
it's okay though.
I do like getting to lunch sooner though.
Like for
that is like the fun part of the day.
Oh, yeah.
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 Lunchtime is the best. Right after coffee. I like eating.
You're like, and it's my favorite part of the day.
And I'm going to just celebrate your lunch. So I'm happy for you guys.
You're like, happy for you. Please tune in while it is your lunch. Thank you. Yeah, today, if you are tuning in, it might be applicable if you work in any type of industrial work. So let us know also where you're coming from in terms of business sector. That's always good for us to know too, because then we can.
What do you get to do all day?
Yeah.
We think about gloves.
We do this.
And
clothing. No, we do much more, but this is a fun one. This is a fun part of our day.
It is. It's a little more fun than typing emails. No offense to you guys that are getting emails.
Yeah.
But all right. 10 bells.
Woohoo. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Glove Lab. And it's just another episode, but this episode we are focusing on industrial PPE. So
yes. So we work for Eagle Protect, and we are a disposable glove and clothing supplier. What makes us a little different is that when a range of our gloves, right now it's the 2.6 up to the 5, when we import those gloves, we actually send them off to a lab to third-party test them. We test them for cleanliness, for durability, to make sure the materials haven't changed. We test them to make sure they're not full of holes. We work with great factories. We trust our factories, but we want to give our customers more than just a, hey, trust me. So we do double check. And if the ingredients haven't changed, that means the durability is going to be the same. The stretch is the same. The chemical protection is the same. The quality is going to be the same. If it's not irritating your skin, it's going to be the same. Mm-hmm. So it's just the consistency. And it's something that when you buy our products, that's how we want to be different, is just having the consistent quality. And then we back it up with the smart people at the labs.
Yep. At the labs.
The labs have the smart folks.
The smart people. So like I said, today is all about industrial PPE. So specifically, we're going to be talking about disposable gloves and how choosing the right glove for the job at hand can improve not only safety, but also productivity and even reduce costs that you might be struggling with for materials. So before we jump in, our question of the day, which is always fun.
Yeah, I haven't looked at what this one is.
So if you could eliminate one annoying task from your workday forever, like this would be gone, what would it be? I don't even know if I have an answer to this yet.
Honestly, probably going through those morning emails.
Really, I kind of get some satisfaction.
Like
checking it all off.
God, all the people that think I need their newsletters and their emails and all their stuff. It's like the ones that matter, I like. But it's the filtering out the ones that don't matter. That part of it. If I could just come to work and have like a matters email, I would love it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What was yours?
I think I don't. I'm trying to think. Probably.
Wasn't this your question?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah, I probably should have thought about it before I came up with it. But I think so. We send out a lot of samples to customers, and that's absolutely a great thing. We have to document a lot on the back end just for us to understand kind of like what we're doing, what we're sending to people, kind of looking at things. And sometimes I really do. Like, I'm like, oh, like I wake up at night, like, and be like, oh my God, I forgot to put the shipping cost.
The tracking.
Like, if that could be automatic, like that would be great,
Yeah.
because sometimes I really panic that I forgot.
If every system
part
you
of
use could
it.
talk to each other,
Yeah,
that would be
it'd
so fantastic.
Amazing. Because sometimes I really do get a jolt where I'm like, oh my God, our analytics.
I get that.
So anyway, if anyone has anything to share about with that, please let us know in the chat as well. So when people hear industrial gloves, they often picture one type of glove that works for everything, but that's not really the case or necessarily what we recommend.
That's true. Because when we say industrial gloves, I think people tried to pigeonhole it a little bit, but honestly, industrial gloves is a little bit, it kind of is a catch-all for a category that's like, we have our medical gloves, we have our food gloves, and then we call them our industrial gloves. And so it's kind of the catch-all for everybody that's not medical and not food, to be honest. So it is kind of a bigger range of work that it covers. And so there's not one glove for each of it. Like, let's say, okay, think about it. There could be somebody that's assembling electronics. There could be somebody that's fixing my car. There could be somebody that's cleaning my office building. There could be any manufacturing. That's not, so it's like, there's a bunch of things that can be considered industrial. So it doesn't really narrow it down to one specific thing. And a lot of times these people are working with something that it might be cleaners and chemicals and maybe something with machinery where it's oily and greasy. And so I would say industrial, it's not always, but they do have a little bit more when it comes to like grip and chemicals where it matters more often, not always, but more often. And so when it comes to industrial gloves, I think the first thing we should ask isn't like, what's your favorite glove? And everybody goes, the black one.
Which is very common.
Which is kind of what we hear.
But
But our first question when we talk to people is usually like, what are you doing for your job? What are you handling? What are you trying to accomplish? Right. We need a little more details because industrial is very, very broad.
Right.
Food is broad, but I would say industrial is even more so because we can be making airplanes to like cleaning toilets. It's a whole range of it. So there's a lot more questions that need to be asked to find out exactly what the glove is doing.
Right. So essentially, before you even start comparing products, we have to know, or what you should really understand if you're picking a glove, is the work that's being done. So I think we have some, I guess, guidelines for that.
Yeah. So, okay. So if somebody is like, I need a glove, and we know they're industrial, let's say they're just industrial. We kind of ask them, it's like, what are the employees handling? What is the glove actually going to be doing? Are the conditions wet? Are they dry? Is it oily? And that matters with the grip of the glove because then the glove has to perform a little bit different. It could need some extra help. It could not matter. What tools are being used? A lot of people in this industry would be using tools or cleaning devices, or if they're mechanic, think they have like a wrench and things like that. So that torque puts a lot of stress on a glove, especially where you hold the glove. Things like that, you may need a little bit stronger glove just to withstand what you're doing. Are there sharp edges involved? Things that could snag the glove, things that could cut the glove. Are there chemicals being used? Are there cleaners being used? I mean, some of those cleaners, God love them for what they do, but some of those people work with gnarly chemicals.
I mean, they're intense.
Yes. And so we want to make sure it's like, if you're working with something like that, we need to know and make sure that the glove is suited for it. If you're just using Windex on a window, like you're going to be fine. So it kind of depends on what they're doing that way. How often are the gloves being changed? Do these gloves have to last all day, or is there more flexibility in that? There's just a lot of questions to narrow it down to find out what it is, because you don't necessarily need the thickest glove out there. You just you don't necessarily need like this huge, girthy, strong glove, but you might. You may need something with a diamond texture to help you out, that kind of thing. So there's a lot more, I feel like, nuanced usage to make sure it works. But then at the same time, there are a lot of gloves that can be used in a lot of different areas.
Right.
So it's not like you have to buy 14 different gloves just because you clean a building with 14 different chemicals or something like that.
So there should be
so it's not,
overlap.
it's not as complicated maybe as it sounds, but you do have to take a little time and pay attention. You can't just go click gloves, put it in my cart and buy. You should ask a few more questions to make sure that glove is actually going to protect the people wearing it.
Right. Yeah. And, I think we've gotten some good questions in the chat. So if we want to answer these as well, how do different tools impact the types of gloves we should be wearing?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a really good one.
So when we're talking about tools, it's going to be something that you're holding in your hand. And so this matters with the glove because the glove is on the hand, so the tool is going to touch it. If you're working with a tool that does have a sharp edge that could snag the glove, things like that, we really recommend trying the glove with the tool to make sure, because you don't want a glove that if it does catch something, it just rips and shreds right apart, because that's not right. But I would say when it comes to tools, usually the most common thing is if there's twisting or torque or turning. So you think like a wrench or a screwdriver or a pineapple core or something like that. So if there's something where you're turning a little bit, that stress on the glove, it really pulls. And so you're going to need a thicker glove when you have that. So we do have some facilities. One just came up actually where they got our 3 mil and it's working everywhere. Everybody's using it. First, the Jan-San section. So this is like janitorial, sanitation, things like that. So they're cleaning and it's working. But when it came to stripping the floors, they have, I think we've all seen them like in our gyms. They like push around the big spinning. Yeah. I don't know what it is, honestly, but I think it's like a sander or a cleaner. And with that and the vibration of the machine, the gloves were ripping. And so there was extra stress on the glove where we needed a little bit more. We just went up to a 4 mil and it works just fine, but the 3 mil wasn't quite enough. So it does depend on what's in the hand. And a lot of time it does matter right in this area if the glove would fail when it comes to a tool, since that's how we hold things.
Right. So we do have another question as well, if we want to hit this one here too. So what if my workplace prioritizes hand washing as opposed to wearing gloves?
Okay, so that one is probably a little bit more maybe in like the food side, or perhaps if you were doing like a facility where you're sorting or packing boxes, something like that, you may have somebody that's just like, you're fine touching it, just use your hands. When it comes to that, there's a kind of a few different nuances where you'd have to know a little bit more about what you're doing. But if you are touching food in that instance, that is something where there is science where it is almost impossible for people to really get their hands clean. If you think about it, like how confident are you about your fingernails after you clean like your hands? Like I sing happy birthday twice and it's like, I'm not sure my fingernails are totally clean. So it's just one of those where we feel like the science has proved that having a glove is necessary to, even though we do wash our hands, which is good practice and we want to do, to have a glove on there just as an extra barrier before we're touching the food that people are going to eat.
Right.
But then at the same time, I would kind of take that next step and just say it can't just be any glove, because if there are some gloves on the market that we've tested and they have fecal matter and they have Listeria and E. coli and all this good stuff on there. So if you put on a dirty glove, it kind of negates the purpose of that glove.
Right.
And
you want to start with something that isn't going to start you behind.
Exactly. So shameless plug, I'm going to plug us again. So when we have our third-party tested gloves, to know we're not going to contaminate, especially when it is the food industry, that is something we highly recommend, because hand washing is great, but then we feel like that extra layer of the glove that we know we can trust is kind of something that should be used.
Yes. And I apologize. I was looking at this next question and I wanted to be able to answer this appropriately. We have the next question, just so everyone knows, is what's the best way to check the durability on the gloves when putting them on? Can you show how? We actually have a great video resource for this. So I'm going to copy the link in the chat, and that way you can kind of check that out and see this test. I was thinking
And then because all of these questions kind of come down to the same thing too. And it is the main problem we hear with gloves, and it's that they're ripping. If a glove is ripping, the glove is useless. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not protecting the product you're touching. It's not protecting the worker from what's being touched.
Right.
So if the glove is ripping, it's such a waste of money and time because you're buying something that's not working. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not protecting things. you're spending time, if it's rewashing your hands or going over to the box to change and throw away the other pair and come back to work. And so it's really just a waste of time with that. And when it comes to the ripping, it kind of comes down to a few different things. So either the glove isn't designed for the task. Like I said with our gloves, we have high quality gloves. I love our gloves. I believe in our gloves. But like in the instance when they're floor stripping, our 3 mil didn't work. It wasn't suitable for the task. They needed the 4 mil. They needed a little more strength. So that is something, it has to be designed for what it's going to do. The other possibility is it could be just kind of a crap glove. Yeah. And it's something that if it's not consistent, if it's not made with good materials, if it's not made with good process methods, it could be a glove that if they're cutting corners and they're putting something in there like chalk doesn't stretch. It's something where the glove could just be a bad glove and it's falling apart. So it could be one of those where maybe it is the thickness of the glove where you need a little bit more if you have a quality glove, or it could be the glove isn't a quality glove and you maybe need a brand switch. So that's kind of what we would recommend if the glove is ripping. And even when it comes to these questions about tools, about putting them on, if it's ripping when you put them on, if it's ripping when you're spinning your wrench, things like that. So those are kind of the two areas where you can help solve that problem.
Yeah. And I think this impacts work too for people. So in terms of like, it takes time out of people's days. So that's just something to note as well.
Oh, sure. Can you imagine that every time, a mechanic sorry, I'm not a mechanic. Obviously, if I talk long enough, you're going to know this about me. I'm on my little cart and I scoot under the car and I'm changing, and then my glove rips and I got to scoot out from under the car. I got to go over, throw my gloves away, grab another pair, get on my cart and scoot under. And it's a minute or two I did. And if that happens, let's say 3 or 4 times when I'm fixing that car, that's 5-7 minutes I've wasted where if that happens 10 cars a day, you probably could have fixed another car and had another charge. And you're just wasting money where you're not getting money because you're busy walking around throwing away your ripped gloves.
Well, and what's worse is if then they don't deem it worth it to go change the glove and then they have a ripped glove on to do the task that they're doing. And it's just a risk. And 2, it's like they might even try to have the protection there.
Can you imagine fixing a motor and you just kind of like full of oil or something? Or fluids, whatever they have in there, just be like in the fingers.
It just defeats the point.
Yeah. So if you're going to wear gloves got to work.
Yeah. So we've talked about this before, but I think it's important to note. So grip, that's a huge one for
especially in this industry.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So when it comes to grip, this is a little bit more, I would almost put it on the worker safety side of it. Okay. And at the beginning, we kind of asked what are the conditions of it? Because even if you tell me what the product is, it matters if it's wet or if it's dry or if it is oily or if it has a sanitizer on it that's slippery, things like that. Because let's just think if I'm fixing something and it is greasy and it's oily. So when I'm putting on my bolts and nuts and yes, I'm not a mechanic.
The mechanic here.
So if I'm putting all my little mechanic parts on there, I could have oil on my hands. And then if I take the wrench and I'm going to just crank on something, if my glove slips off,
it's dangerous.
You can bust a wrist doing it.
So knuckle, it's
yes. Yeah. And then this also shows up, especially in the food industry. Let's say for meat processing, if something is greasy,
that's big.
If it's fatty meat, something like that. It's I could have a knife in my hand, and it's so if I have slippery gloves and I'm holding a knife and I'm trying to slice, I don't even want to imagine what could happen. So worker safety is a big one. And so how we do this is all of our gloves have some kind of texture to them. So there's a little bit of a roughness to our gloves, but then they have some that are a little bit rougher and a little bit rougher. So almost like when you go to the store and you can buy sandpaper, you know how there's different grits?
Grit. Yeah.
I don't know if the high grit is the little grit or
I think it is.
I think so. Okay. So let's say I get 100 grit. It's like the little grit. So we have some of our thinner gloves that have that. But then when I get to our thicker gloves, if you feel it, it's almost more of your 50s or 30 grit, where it is a little bit rougher. Yeah. So then that gives me a little more grip because there's somewhere for the oil to go and displace around the glove, and the glove still touches what I'm doing. If you really want to get after it, we have the diamond texture, which are just the coolest gloves, I think. But it almost looks like tiny little pyramids all over the glove. And then this gives more of a place for the liquid or the grease to kind of dissipate, if you will, around it. And then the glove still touches what you're doing. So it does give more grip. And when you're in those super slippery, the super greasy, if it's wet, it's oily, things like that. In those situations, it really can enhance worker safety and just give them a little bit better confidence in what they're doing, that what they're holding is going to remain being held. And so that's something where, depending on what we're doing, it really can be a big important thing.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. And
I do want to say though, that diamond grip, it does add a little bit more cost. It's like it's like $2 more a case, but then I'll come back to, if somebody has an accident with that knife, it's going to cost you more than $2 a case. So it's like I mean, in the realm of things, it is a little more expensive, but when people start getting nitpicky about those, when it comes to worker safety, I get a little frustrated with that, to be honest.
Well, and I think I mean, we could go into this one for a long time for sure, but I think that when it comes to worker safety, that's, I mean, from a business standpoint, one, your people matter because they do the job. They make what you're trying to do possible. Two, they, if they get hurt, unfortunately, like, we don't want to think about it like this because people are people, but it's also, it costs you a lot of money to, one, if someone were to leave or if someone were to get injured, to retrain someone, pay for any bills or anything like that. It's like, it's a lot. I hate saying that because, of course, the first thing, the first thing should be the person, but there's also just a lot of other ramifications. And honestly, it's a great segue because one thing we mentioned before was chemicals. Like, really heavy chemicals can be really scary when people are handling them. So they need the right protection.
Yeah, I would put that in the worker safety section of it too. There are times, let's say in the food industry, where we do, like the question before was a great question. So it's like, so we wear gloves to protect the food we're touching because I don't want to eat a sandwich with somebody's snotty fingers on it. No, I don't. I don't want to even say. I
say that with offense.
Yeah, I won't even say no offense because I just don't want to eat that. Yeah. But when it comes to chemicals, I would say it's almost the other way around, where we're protecting the worker from what they're touching, so they can do the job, they can clean what they're doing, and they can get their task done. But at the same time, protecting them from interacting with that chemical, because the chemical is there to clean, not to be absorbed through your skin.
Right.
It's just something we don't want to happen. I think that the common misconception though is like, as long as I have a glove, there's a barrier, we're good to go.
Yeah.
So kind of I just need a glove. In general. I think that's kind of probably mostly when people think about chemicals, they just know they need a glove. But different glove materials do perform differently. And I had a question at a trade show about this, and they were kind of curious why. And I thought it was a great question because it's like, if I'm just getting a glove, why doesn't the glove work? Why can't I use this one with that chemical and I can use that one with that chemical? I look at them the same, they feel the same, they stretch the same. It's like, why does this one protect against this chemical and not that chemical? And I hadn't really thought about it to the next level, if you will. But every glove is made with a different recipe. They really look the same. Some of them feel quite similar to each other. Some feel exactly the same. But most gloves are made with different recipes. And if you think the different recipes have different ingredients in them, well, I think we all took chemistry class. When you mix certain chemicals together, some are fine and some really don't like each other.
Yeah.
And so depending on what ingredients are in the recipe of my glove, when I touch different chemicals, they can react differently because some of them like each other and they can get along just fine, and some of them do not like each other.
Yeah, I love the way you're explaining that.
There are some chemicals that shouldn't be used with certain gloves because they don't like each other. Your glove is not going to like explode. It's not going to just melt and stuff like that. But it does start to degrade and wear down. And depending on the chemical and what it's made out of, like, it can happen at different rates. It could happen over the course of 4 hours. It could happen in 5 minutes. So that's something where when it comes to chemicals, we just ask that people take a glove, put it on the counter, nobody's hand inside, just put it on the counter, put the chemical on top, and let it sit there for longer than the glove is going to be in contact with the chemical. So if you clean for an hour, you should leave it sitting on there for longer than an hour. So you want to over test so you know it works for the task.
And probably a good amount more, just also considering, I mean, I guess I've never really asked about this before, but when you're wearing a glove, there's more wear and tear than if a glove is sitting on the table. So what you're saying about having it there for longer, I mean, I think that's really important because not only are you taking into consideration the chemical being on there for longer, but also the wear and tear from using it.
That's a good point.
Is going to be different.
Yes. So after the chemical is on the glove, sometimes you can see color discoloration. If the color is changing, sometimes it's visual what you can see. After you get the chemical off of there, if you stretch it, sometimes the elasticity,
I
cannot talk. Sometimes the elasticity is affected, where then the glove does rip easier. And sometimes that does degrade the material, where it actually, like, the chemical will get through the material, and there will be some on the inside of the glove, and that's just like, hey, I don't know, like that one, we just don't do that one. So there are different things. Sometimes it's visual, and sometimes you have to stretch it side to side to see durability. And just because a glove maybe shows a little something, it still could protect okay, as long as it's still protecting the inside. And that's where there's not a hard coded, yes, this glove works for this material, like, because chemicals are also different strengths. You can tell me a chemical and it's like, is it 60%? Is it 40%? Is it, there's so many variables. We just really want people to check, because this is a big worker safety one. And like you're saying, when it comes to industrial, super important. Because these are the folks that really, really dive into that cabinet.
So we got a comment from Dr. Darren Detweiler. Hi, it's good to see you.
Hi, Darren.
So gloves are made from polymers, plastics, or rubbers, and not every polymer is resistant to every chemical. So that's good. Yeah, that's a hello.
Hi, Darren. That is very true. And that's where they're all a little bit different. I think people kind of think a glove is a glove, and it is a universal recipe across the way, but it's almost like a running shoe. I mean, they're all called running shoes, but they're all different. But they're all running shoes, and they all kind of do the same thing. But I wouldn't get some running shoes for doing marathons, while some others are like, they have spikes on the bottom, they're made for sprinting.
Well,
I mean, so it's just, they're different.
And you walk into like a running store, it's very overwhelming.
Yes, there is more than one shoe.
A lot.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not a mechanic. I like shoes. I can talk more about the shoes.
So I think that's a great point. I think another point, especially on the side of, I guess, worker safety and maybe workplace happiness as well, is comfort for gloves.
Yeah. And it's probably something that isn't thought about that much, but okay, I'm going to full circle this back to my shoes. If I have to wear my shoes all day at work, I probably put them on. I probably walk around the store. I probably make sure they're comfortable. I'm probably making sure they don't rub my little pinky toe, so I get blisters. I'm not going to get a shoe that's uncomfortable because I'm going to wear it all day.
Yeah.
On the same front, a lot of people wear gloves all day. Even if they take them off to change or do a few things, and they put gloves back on for a considerable part of the day. There's a lot of people out there that wear gloves.
Right.
And it does matter if the glove is comfortable. And when we say comfortable, okay, I'll admit, you wearing a glove, it's not going to be as great as just being out in the sunshine tanning at the beach. So if you have a glove on, the glove can be stiff and it cannot stretch easy. And that's really hard on your hands, and it can cause some stress. It can cause muscle issues. So that can be uncomfortable. The size can be wrong. If you're wearing this tiny glove that's too small, or if it's too big, that can be uncomfortable. If it's made of cheaper materials, you're more likely to sweat, and your hands will probably be a little bit hotter, which is very uncomfortable. If you use a higher quality glove, you're going to notice your hands don't sweat as much. There's some people out there that just got them those sweaty paws, and they're going to be sweating. That's you.
Yeah. Well, okay, we're out there. All right. Let's be loud and proud. All right. It's called hyperhidrosis, and some people have it. And if you have to wear gloves all day, it's hard. So I can only imagine.
So we got our sweaty mitt
My
friends.
Little soapbox. Okay, I'm getting off now.
So there are some people that are going to have a more damp environment, which is harder on your skin. You can get rashes, you can break out, you can have stuff like that. Getting a better glove is going to be better, because the cheaper the chemical, it's more likely to irritate the skin. And so if that sweaty environment is there, it's more likely to turn into a rash or something that needs to be a doctor to help with to recover. Because otherwise, if you're always in an environment, it's never going to heal. On the business side of it, this can also be like a worker comp thing. It can take people off of work for a while. You can lose some workers for a bit as they're recovering and having their skin heal and things like that. So when it comes to comfort, there's a lot in there. And I would say even the thinner the glove, just having the dexterity, being able to pick up, think if I'm picking up like screws off the floor and I got some big old glove that doesn't stretch and I can't feel what I'm doing. Yeah, there's a lot of things where a glove can just make your day a little bit better.
Yeah. And I know we're talking industrial, but I know that thin gloves are really, really important, especially in medical applications. So because they need to be able to feel things. So that's like emergency services. If they're trying to put an IV in, they have to be able to feel a vein. Oh, so it's like
that lady with that needle better get it in the first time. So
come on. Yeah.
She better be able to know what she's doing.
It's important. It's important. It's, there's a lot of things that we can sometimes overlook, especially when it comes to comfort and or thickness for the job that's being done. So
what the glove is like when it's on, it has to not rip, but then also being comfortable is something that you shouldn't settle on. It's something that you can do.
Yes, I 100% agree. So this is something that we've talked a lot about with customers. And I don't fault them for that. So if someone's looking at different glove options, I guess, what should they compare besides price? Because that's the biggest thing we talk about, I would say. I mean, it's part of it for sure.
I'm not going to avoid it. Price matters. I mean, it's like we all have a budget. We need to fit within the budget. If we don't hit the budget, I don't get paid. I like getting paid. But price matters. Yeah, price matters. But above and beyond that, there are things that also feed into price, but they also do matter. One is the durability. How long can you wear the gloves? Are the gloves ripping? Yeah. And this does come to price. If the gloves are ripping, they're going to be more expensive because you're not using them. You're just throwing them in the trash. So do the gloves work? The durability is, I would say, the biggest thing. The glove has to work. Then after that is the grip. Part of the glove not ripping, but then it also has to work for what I'm doing. And I have to be able to hold what I'm doing. So I have to successfully be able to do my job. So grip matters. The fit matters. Sometimes businesses will like to buy like 1 or 2 sizes because it's simple, just keep boxes in the corner. But your workers actually work a little bit faster. If the glove fits, they can feel what they're doing. They don't have excess glove. They don't have too tight of gloves. So the fit of the glove, making sure. And in general, gloves fit similar, but every glove is made on a hand mold that comes and it gets dipped in the nitrile and dries off and dipped in the nitrile. So depending on the shape of that mold, every glove is going to fit a little bit different just because that mold was different. And so some may have just a little bit longer fingers. Some might have a little bit wider palm. And so that's where there are some gloves, even of ours, I like medium in most of our gloves, but in the sensitive, I feel better in a large. And so that's where it just depends on the glove itself. So it is good to get a few to try on before you order to make sure they fit your staff. Chemical compatibility, there's usually a chemical chart, and there are some chemicals that have been tested and it's like, you know what, these two are buddies and pals, you can use them together and you're clear to go. But in general, a lot of chemicals, like we were talking, we recommend testing it out just to make sure before you put somebody's skin in there.
Sure.
And then just the consistency. So we recommend giving it a test run and trying a few of them and trying it more than just like, oh, wow, this feels good, I'll buy it. Try it where you're working. Try it in the different areas. Try it for the different things you're going to do. Make sure it works everywhere. And then also be aware that if one round of gloves work, but then the next ones they drop off if they don't work. It's like if the glove isn't consistently made and you have variability in how the glove performs, besides being beyond frustrating because that's not your fault. That's something just to keep in mind and do not settle for it. That is something you don't have to just accept that as something that's normal.
No, it's definitely not. And you just touched on this, which is great, but can you give a little bit more details, I guess, on testing gloves? So what should they specifically be looking at, counting? Like what is, I guess, just a little bit more about that for if someone wanted to go deep dive.
So if you were going to test the gloves, I would get a few boxes from before you're going to dive into it. We usually try to do a commercial trial with the bigger companies that we're working with. So we'll send a few boxes. They'll put them in a few different spots on the line, depending on how big they are and how big of a trial. They may need a couple more boxes if they're going to use them all day. Have a few different people get their input. Have them just act like their normal business and just be cognizant of how many gloves rip, how many times did I have to go back to the box? Were they comfortable? Did they fit? Do I have good grip? Can I do what I'm doing? Is it helping me do my job, or is this a hindrance to keeping me from doing the job? Of course, check for the chemical compatibility before you do the trial. Right. So you don't want your people finding out during the trial. But it is something to ask a few questions about besides when you do a trial, don't just say, hey, what'd you think? If people say good or bad, you're like, I like them, I don't like them.
Yeah.
It's like, what does that mean?
It's like, what
did
are the
they
numbers?
work? Yeah. Did they rip? How often did they rip? They're not indestructible. Did we lose 1 or 2? Did we lose 40? I mean, so it's like ask more questions and don't have it just be like a yes, no kind of questions. It's a little more talk to me about how they felt. Were you able to pick up the product that you're working with? How often did you have to change your gloves? How often did they rip? Were they comfortable? Just asking a few more questions besides, do you like them? Yes, no, I think will give you a lot of more insight.
Yeah. So we did touch on glove price. If you want to just chat about what you were just talking about can actually contribute to it. I think we did a little.
Yeah. So, okay. When it comes to glove price does matter. We do our best to be, always be comparable in the industry and to be competitive. But price does matter. And there's always going to be cheap ones out there. Mm-hmm. If you have someone that's purely Google searching for coupons and the lowest price and the cheapest glove out there, you will find it. And it is the cheapest glove out
Probably
there.
Not going to be ours. We're just being honest.
Yeah. So it's like, if you want cheap, you can find cheap, but then you're also getting cheap. Yeah. And so this is something when I buy the case, okay, I don't have numbers right in front of me, but let's say I save $10 in a case. There's 1,000 gloves. So that's what, 10 cents a glove I'm saving?
Okay.
Right? Sorry, not a mechanic and I'm also not a mathematician. But okay, let's say I'm saving 10 cents a glove. So if I'm putting on gloves, and this is very common what we hear, you put on a glove and it rips, put on a glove, it rips, put on a glove, it rips. And then the fourth one works. Well, I've just spent 50 cents on gloves that I'm not using and I'm just throwing away. So that 10 cents a glove isn't there anymore because I paid the whole price of 5 gloves to get to the 1 glove I'm using.
And not to mention you're down 4 gloves.
So, and then my inventory is not there. So I'm gonna have to buy sooner. So right away, price is out the window. But then on top of that, if I'm doing my job, my glove reps, I have to go over most jobs, you have to wash your hands and then you put on a new pair of gloves and then you go back to work. Mm-hmm. And if I'm singing happy birthday twice, in general, it takes probably 2 minutes to do that round trip, depending on where the box of gloves, it could be up to 4 minutes, even if it's 1 minute. And that happens, let's say throughout the day, to all of your workers 5 or 6, 10 times. I mean, it's like, it's hours of work that you're paying your employees to go wash their hands and change gloves. So,
which is important. Just, we want it to happen less.
Yes, it is a good process. It's something that should be happening. But the problem is the glove ripping, which is causing all of this inefficiency. These people are not working. They're washing their hands and they're changing gloves, wasting gloves, throwing them away and not using them because they ripped. That is not your fault. This is the glove's fault. Mm-hmm. And so if we get the right glove in there, all these inefficiencies, think how much more product you can be moving, working, making if everybody's actually working the whole time instead of spending hours over by the glove box trying to get 4 more that fit, but I'm wasting other ones to put them on and having the cuff in my hand. And I mean, I can't imagine the frustration.
Like, well, and I think people might think that we're exaggerating.
No,
but we've worked with people on this, and these are like genuine numbers we've gotten back, like hours and hours of work. Like, I think the highest one we've seen, at least for me personally, because I haven't been there with all these discussions, but it was like 15 hours total per week.
Yeah, we have a calculator if anybody's interested, and this is a good way to kind of bring procurement into the loop because they're responsible for the budget and buying gloves, but at the same time, they're not using the gloves. So sometimes there's a disconnect in the understanding of what the product is actually doing. So we do have a calculator where we can walk people through how many employees you have, how many gloves you're using, when a glove rips, how long does it take them to go change, things like that. And it was a larger company. I did a meeting with them and changing to our gloves, and we didn't even go thinner. We were going for mil.
Lateral.
So we weren't even selling them a cheaper, like a thinner glove. Our gloves were more expensive, to be honest. And we saved them in the year an estimated $150,000 because they switched to a better glove and we could take care of all those inefficiencies. Yeah. And they had done a trial with our gloves. So we calculated everything off of their numbers. It wasn't me selling them. It wasn't anything. It was their crew that got the numbers that we needed. And then we did the calculation. And it was one of those where they were shocked where if they actually bought a more expensive glove, they saved $150,000. It's just like, if you sit back, there's a lot of numbers that actually go into a case cost besides the case cost.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, I mean, maybe as an employee, I shouldn't act so surprised because this is what we do, but it's just every time I'm surprised. Every time I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
that's a lot. So anyway, we can help if you need it. So reach out to us if you'd like.
Yes.
All
You
right.
want to finish up with some questions?
Yeah, I think that's probably good. Thanks for sticking with us. I know this one's a bit of a longer one. We usually do 30, but we'll do one question. And this is one that we got before this live. So how often should we reevaluate the gloves we're using?
Okay. This is actually a really good question. Sorry, I'm not saying like I'm surprised somebody asked a good question. No, this is okay, this makes me think question. If you're using a glove, I would say it's good to reevaluate the glove when anything changes, for sure. If you're changing process, if you're changing product, if you're changing temperature of the environment, if you're changing chemicals you're working with, if you're got new equipment, if there's a new process, if there's anything changes, make sure the gloves still work. It was like, you may be able to go down a glove thickness and get something cheaper. You may have to go up a glove thickness, but just make sure the gloves work when anything changes. I would say that's the biggest thing. But if nothing's changing and you're just a well-greased wheel and you're going, I would say probably every year, it's good to just kind of take a good look at it and make sure things just are still where they're supposed to be. Has your packaging changed? Anything like that, where just make sure the gloves still work. But if nothing has changed, I still think it's good to do it periodically, just to, it's a safety thing for the workers too, just to make sure that what you're using is appropriate,
good, and
working.
Yeah. So that is our final question for the day. We want to wrap up and respect your time too. So thank you guys for joining our Glove Lab live stream. We do enjoy doing this. We do it every month. Next month, we're actually going to be diving into some meat processing. So we'll update you with that. It'll be very fun.
Getting meaty.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to subscribe. That's where you'll get all the updates. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for everybody for joining us. Thanks for chiming in. If you guys have any questions, you have any ideas for other things to talk about, I see one asking about the thickness of gloves. That's awesome. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it, but we hope everybody has a good rest of the day.
Yeah.
And we will see you all later.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye.